So suddenly this franchise that was a mess and all this dead cap money with Russell Wilson, they took a big swing on it. They just got Zach Wilson. He'll get a reboot, talented kid. And they have Jarrett Stidham, who they could use potentially as a very nice trade piece. 66 quarterbacks played in the NFL last year. Pretty nice to have 3 guys, and you could move 2 of them. So if Bo Nix hits, the Russell Wilson drama is irrelevant. The dude completed 77% of his passes last year. He's Drew Brees with mobility potentially. And I'm going to tell you something now, and nobody wants to say this because fear drives so many decisions in the NFL. The word dead cap. When you hear that, everybody thinks, oh, it's a funeral. It's an NFL funeral. Dead cap money. I would much rather have teams take swings and end up with a little dead cap. 4 of the 5 highest dead cap hits last year made the playoffs. Green Bay took a big swing. They moved off Aaron Rodgers. Buccaneers made a big swing with Brady, won a Super Bowl. And then they took a swing on Baker. If Bo Nix can play, then the Russell Wilson thing, it's going to be last year's news. Nobody's going to care. Take a big swing. It's either going to get you gold bars and trophies or close to it. And if not, it's amazing the opportunities that arise if you hit on a draft pick. You don't even have to have Caleb Williams. Brock Purdy is getting to big games. Bo Nix can absolutely do the same with Sean Payton.
You are now entering the No Bull Zone, sponsored by Credible. Great rates with none of the bull. All right, let's get to the NFL. Oh, yeah, I love that. You guys are going to love this. Yes, let me just start out. Yes, the New York Giants have been a hot mess for a good 5 years. I would call it a dumpster fire, but that might be a little too strong. So Hard Knocks is a pretty great franchise that HBO has had, and they used to just do the preseason, and then that kind of got stale, so they started to do like an in-season, and now they're doing an off-season Hard Knocks, and Hard Knocks is with the New York Giants. And you guys know the Giants were terrible last year, one of the worst teams in the league, and there is a sense that the head coach, Brian Daboll, who everybody likes, he's probably fine. But the GM, Joe Schoen, is definitely under some heat. And I know they're kind of a package deal being Buffalo guys, but Shane seems to be a little nervous for his job. And how do I know this? Because he's saying totally insane stuff in front of the cameras on Hard Knocks. There was a moment with about Brian Burns where he is like kind of almost like a goofy middle schooler going up to girls asking if they want to dance. And he's like, oh, how about a trade? What can I get Brian Burns off your hands for? Ha, ha. It's like, dude, stop hamming it up for the cameras. But he goes further, and it becomes about Saquon Barkley and then Daniel Jones. And, you know, we can't get the video for you, but I have the quote, and this is just mind-numbingly stupid, okay? Joe Schoen is defending Daniel Jones to his coaches and actually had the cojones to utter, the reality is facts, 3 serious injuries in 2 years. We need to protect ourselves. Jones didn't have much of a chance this year. That's legit. 4 guys, the core guys that were going to play together, played less than 60 snaps together. He's talking about the offensive line. Miami, we got effing 3 practice squad guys playing for us. Like nobody could, bad word, you could have a Patrick Mahomes and he couldn't win behind that. I'm not giving up on Daniel Jones. And listen, yes, there is some facts there. They had offensive line injuries. Whoop-de-damn-do. Who doesn't? Welcome to the NFL, Joe Schoen. Is this your first run? Like, everybody has offensive line injuries. You gonna cry about it? And that's the reason Daniel Jones isn't great? And Patrick Mahomes couldn't win behind them because Patrick Mahomes struggled without his tackles in the Super Bowl against a historically great Tampa pass rush? Like, this is embarrassing. I mean, I just want to remind people. I had to look this up. This is almost, you can't believe this stuff. So Daniel Jones has played in 60 games. He has 46 fumbles. 46 in 60 games. He's had one good, and I'm going to use air quotes, good season. That was 2 years ago when they went to the playoffs, beat the Vikings. They were 9-6-1. You know Daniel Jones threw 15 touchdown passes that season? That's his good season. Why can't you just admit that he's not the guy? It's because you gave him the big fat contract. You paid Daniel Jones instead of Saquon Barkley when everybody knew that that's a terrible mistake. And I'm just telling you, I will not forget anytime soon, Cowherd and I on this show talking about the market for Daniel Jones. And there was no market. The Giants were literally bidding against themselves. If Daniel Jones said, hey, I don't like what you guys are dealing me here, I'm going to go test the market. And the Giants said, go for it. Daniel Jones would not have sniffed the contract the Giants gave him. So they gave him $40 million. I remember instant acrimony in the locker room, all sorts of, Saquon Barkley's now unhappy. He's our best player. Oh, there's more. Here's what Joe Shane said about Saquon Barkley. You know, they lost him, and now it's embarrassing because it's like he got stolen by your division rival, the Eagles. And the Eagles are like, oh, we're all giddy. We got Saquon Barkley. I read an article this week that someone actually compared the potential of Saquon Barkley joining the Eagles to what Christian McCaffrey did for the Niners offense. Yeah, that's how excited people are on Saquon. Now, that might be a bit of a stretch, but Saquon Barkley is really, really good. And here's what Joe Shane said about Saquon Barkley and Daniel Jones. We have to upgrade the offensive line, and you're paying Jones $40 million, and it's not to hand the ball off to a $12 million back. My plan is to address the offensive line at some point in free agency. We're sitting at 6. There's a chance you get an offensive weapon there. This is the year for Daniel. So they got that weapon, the receiver from LSU, I believe Neighbors, and now you have no Saquon Barkley. There's no threat of a run game whatsoever. Defenses will line up. Go ahead, run against us. Good luck. Your offensive line stinks. You don't have a running back that scares us. Okay, good luck. Daniel Jones, I don't know how he's going to succeed. And that's when this gets really, really interesting. At what point do they, I don't know, bench Daniel Jones? Remember, they brought in Drew Lock, who was looking great. Anytime you hear backup looking great, it's like, ooh, putting pressure on Daniel Jones. I know they really badly want him to succeed. They're desperate. Would they fire Joe Shane if this is a 5 or 6 or 7 win team, which I think it is? Vegas is not high on this team at all. They're definitely not first or second in the division. At best, they're third, and keep an eye on Washington. I just don't have any faith the Giants can turn this around. I'll just say this. The Giants are also struggling with the amount of good coverage, and just coverage in general, that the Jets are getting. We've seen sky-high expectations for the Jets. They're favored in more than, I think, something like 12 games, maybe 13. Jets are exciting, and I know Aaron Rodgers is catching some heat, but this is a Giants franchise. It's basically a blue blood in the NFL, right? I mean, I think they have 4 Super Bowls in my lifetime. The Jets have, 0. 0 appearances in the Super Bowl. And I've got a fun stat for you. I'm just going to throw this chum out in the water for Giants fans. I had the staff call up. Last 5 years, Jets versus Giants. This is the dregs of the league, folks. It's bad. It's bleak. At least we can say we didn't pay Zach Wilson. We drafted him, but we didn't pay him. You guys paid Daniel Jones. This year, obviously, the Jets climb out of this, but I don't think there's any hope on the horizon for the Giants. Now you got to, if you're the Giants, you almost want to be like a 3 or 4 win team so you can have your pick of the litter at quarterback, because they're going to need one. Daniel Jones ain't the guy. Sorry about your luck, Joe Shane. Let's go to Alex Curry with the news.
No. Turn on the news. This is